Well, Michael, you read a paper you're going to talk to us about called Why Language Models Hallucinate. This is a new paper from OpenAI, just came out this month. I took a look at it. It's really, really interesting. Can you take us through it?
But at the end of the day, it's really not that complicated in terms of outcomes. There are two really key points. One is that, for, I guess, years at this point, we've been just throwing around that claim, hallucinations are inevitable. They added some mathematical rigor behind that claim that I think is just useful to know about, to just verify that this is going to be a persistent problem that we'll have to deal with. But what they did was they made the observation that you can frame any language model as a binary classifier in terms of just, is it valid? And then if you just assume that, actually an interesting part is that even if your training data set is completely error-free, which you would imagine to be a pretty key contributor to hallucinations and errors, assume that those are not even the case. These types of hallucinations are still guaranteed.
That to me was one of the most interesting parts about the paper. There were some of the things in the paper that really blew my mind that I agree with you. They kind of felt obvious in hindsight. This idea that models are being graded, judged. Their loss function is trying to determine how accurate they are in their output, right? In their ability to predict the next token, which essentially does not reward you in any way for admitting you don't know. But one of the things that the paper, I think, again, seems pretty obvious, is there needs to be a modification to the way we train the models so that the loss function can separate guessing and not encourage guessing, right?
Yeah, especially I think that the evaluation piece, really to just kind of hammer that home. The thing that, again, is just obvious in hindsight is like most of these really rigorous benchmarks are multiple choice. Software coding benchmarks in a lot of cases are multiple choice. And if we're just rewarding confident guessing, like it's no wonder that these models are really poorly calibrated. So if you penalize them for answering a question and getting it wrong, but you reward for getting it right, then that makes no claims about how we're supposed to make these models better,
right?
But it does at least align the evaluations more with the behavior that we're trying to elicit.